Dreams as a reflection of psychic structure. Dreams are not random ramblings, but a densely structured language of the unconscious. As noted by French psychoanalysts Jacques Lacan, Pierre Fédida, André Green, among others, a dream is not only a fulfillment of desire, but also a form in which the subject organizes their encounter with the desire of the other. That is, the structure of the dream is closely tied to the subject's psychic structure, their fantasy, and fundamental anxiety. Each type of psychic organization shapes not only its own type of defenses and conflicts, but also its unique style of dreaming. What appears in the dream, whether a scene with others, a catastrophe, or abstract emptiness, is symptomatic of the subject's deep structure. This is because the dream is the site where the fantasy unfolds, an imaginary scene that gives access to desire. However, access to desire is regulated differently across structures, from repression in neurosis to foreclosure in psychosis. Hence the variety in dreams. Neurotic structure. What it is. The neurotic is a subject who has recognized the law of the father and repressed the forbidden desire. Their unconscious is organized around the conflict between desire and prohibition. This conflict generates symbolic dreams, in which the repressed desire still seeks expression in a disguised form. Why this way? Symbolization is the neurotic's main defense. The dream becomes a scene where the conflict with desire is acted out, though in veiled form. Desire is not expressed directly, but neither is it erased. The dream is a compromise between repression and expression. Dream. Structured, scenes with other characters, clear narrative. For example, the dreamer sees themselves interacting with a lover, a father, a boss, but something always prevents completion of the interaction. Fantasy. To be the object of the other's desire, but within the symbolic order. That is, to be desired but not too much, not too directly. Unconscious desire. To receive the other's love without violating the law, to preserve the self-image as proper, yet desirable. Anxiety. Castration anxiety, linked to loss of object or recognition. Separation anxiety, being abandoned without love. Hysterical type. Why this way? The hysteric lives in a constant question to the other. What do you want from me? In dreams, this question appears as a scene of choice, a struggle for love, a triangle. It's a constant drama of presence, absence, of the other's desire. Dream. Dramatic love triangles, struggle for attention. Often includes the question, who am I for the other? Fantasy. To be the one desired, but not completely. At the center of attention, but not exposed, so that the desire remains ambiguous. Unconscious desire. To retain the other's love while remaining a desired object, without full satisfaction. Anxiety. Exposure. That one's desire will be revealed. Abandonment or loss of the other's desire. Obsessive type. Why this way? The obsessive subject fears action, as action means realizing desire. They live in a mode of inhibition. The dream simulates action, but never completes it. In dreams, this appears as endless preparation, repetition, and control. Dream, fixation on actions, control, repetition. For example, preparing for an event that never happens. Fantasy, to know, but not act. Desire is in knowledge, but action is forbidden. Unconscious desire, to avoid realizing desire, keeping it in constant preparation. Anxiety, moral anxiety that stepping beyond limits will bring catastrophe. Control over desire is the main defense. Borderline structure. What it is. Borderline structure lies between neurosis and psychosis. The ego is unstable. The other is seen either as salvation or threat. Identity constantly shifts. Emotions are extreme. Affect regulation is weak. Why this way? In dreams, the borderline subject cannot stabilize themselves in the symbolic field. Scenes collapse, are overwhelmed by affect, catastrophe, bodies. The dream is not a stage, but a storm. Dream, body, catastrophe, strong emotion, often scenes of destruction, sexuality, crisis. The dream lacks stable form. It is an explosion of affect. Fantasy, fusion with the other or complete exclusion from their world. To be everything or nothing. Unconscious desire, to experience the other's presence without threat, to be with someone without being destroyed. Anxiety, affective, panic, splitting. The other may engulf or abandon. Psychotic structure what it is. The psychotic has no access to the symbolic law. They lack a stable other as bearer of desire. The unconscious does not repress. It forecloses, so the return of the repressed is direct, sometimes terrifying, hallucinations, delusions. Schizoid psychotic. Why this way? The psychotic cannot create a stable scene of relationships. Thus, dreams are empty space or the self alone without the other. The other is too threatening to integrate. Dream. The subject is alone. No scene, only space, emptiness, or metaphysical images. Often autistic isolation, fantasy, preservation of the self as whole but without the other. No one should touch or merge with them. Unconscious desire, to survive, to maintain the self intact without being destroyed by the other's presence. Anxiety, objectless, all-consuming. The world threatens the subject's very existence. Paranoid psychotic. Why this way? The paranoid psychotic constructs another, but as an enemy. In dreams, this shows up as images of persecution, spies, substitution. It is an attempt to organize a world where the threat exists, but is somewhat manageable. Dream, persecution, doubles, spies, enemies. Others are always threats. Often includes a struggle for identity. Fantasy. The other wants to steal the self, control, or destroy it. Unconscious desire, to prevent dissolution into the other, to remain oneself, unabsorbed. Anxiety. Total destructive. The other always threatens the self's integrity. Perverse structure. What it is. The pervert acknowledges the law but plays with it. Enjoyment arises not within the symbolic order, but at its edge, where the law is violated, but not entirely rejected. It's an enactment of desire. Why this way? The dream for the pervert is a stage performance. It resembles a theatrical production in which the pervert either enacts the law or mocks it. This is a way to control castration anxiety by playing with it. Dream, a scene with the other, sexuality, role inversion, voyeurism, performance. The pervert scripts a scenario in which they punish, seduce, or observe. Fantasy, to be the phallus, that is the one through whom the other's desire is realized. The pervert enacts the law, but as an actor in a play. Unconscious desire, to satisfy the other, or to reveal that the law is a fiction, to become a stage for the other. Anxiety, exposure, castration, that the scene will stop being play and become reality. Conclusion, every dream is an attempt to realize desire within the structure available to the subject. Fantasy shapes the dream style and structure defines the boundaries of desire. Anxiety is a signal that desire has approached the real too closely. The weaker the structure, the closer the dream is to the real. Total anxiety, disintegration, collapse of the scene. The stronger the structure, neurosis, the more the dream is symbolic, staged, and interpretable.